Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Coach Lilia, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about the 5 key differences between a woman with borderline personality, narcissism, and sociopathy. Okay, number one key element you need to look out for is the woman's emotional reactivity versus detachment. Okay, so understand that somebody who has borderline personality, they are going to have very quick sudden mood swings that are going to come from that place of fear of abandonment. So this 1 second she could be very nice and very open and very into you, and then the second moment she might think that, oh my god, he's going to betray me, he didn't text me back, and you're gonna see rage, you're gonna see anger, and then maybe this cry for help, very infantile, please don't leave me reaction. Narcissists are very different. They're going to be reactive, but it's all going to be from a place of manipulation. You can absolutely trigger them if you give them some criticism, for example, right? You're going to see a lot of anger, a lot of rage, but understand that you're not going to set them off like a match like you would with borderline. Borderline people have a very difficult time regulating their emotions, so you can trigger them and it will be like from night to day in an instant. Whereas narcissists are going to be much better at regulating their emotions, and when they do lash out, it's not coming from a place of fear of abandonment, it's coming from that rage because you have touched their fragile ego. Now, sociopaths are going to be completely detached from their emotions. So if they're going to have a burst of anger, it's done for manipulation to actually create fear, to manipulate you with fear, not because they're actually feeling something, because these people are completely detached from their emotions. It's like looking into a black mirror. There's no one ever home. Number two, you need to understand whether emotional empathy is present, because if the woman has emotional empathy, not cognitive empathy, not the learned one for manipulation, understand that's not narcissism, that's not sociopathy. Borderline individuals, they do have emotional empathy, but they can go from night to day very quickly. One day I have emotional empathy with you, I completely get you, we are on the same page. And then the next moment, if I get in my head that you're betraying me, that you're cheating on me, that you're trying to leave me, you can see how my emotional empathy might be completely cut off. And I'm just going to try to punish you. I'm going to project on you. I'm going to project so much anger and rage on you. But if you actually do decide to leave me, you're going to see this very infantile cry for help from me. Please don't leave me. And then I might be agreeable to anything. I might do anything to fit the mold that you want to see, just so that you don't leave me. These people have very severe trauma that is typically rooted in their childhood, where they've been abandoned or sexually abused. Therefore, they have this infantile fear of abandonment, like a mother that leaves the room and then she comes back and I'm running to her, I'm crying, but at the same time, I'm angry that she left me, but I still want her back. Okay, whereas the narcissist, it's very different. Narcissists are very avoidant. They're going to push you away. They're going to try to discard you, but then they're going to start splitting in their head, because at first you were ideal to me when I was infatuated with you, and now I'm devaluing you and I'm throwing you away. But that means that I was wrong in the beginning about you. So understand that a woman who is borderline, she does have emotional empathy. She just may hide it and not show it and be very angry and have a lot of rage at times, but it is still there. And with narcissism, understand that the empathy is superficial. It's only cognitive. There is no real empathy inside. And same goes with sociopaths. And what's different about a sociopath is not only do they not have emotional empathy, but they are actually very sadistic individuals and they enjoy hurting others around them. The next one here, number three, they are all going to be very charming people who will love bomb in the beginning. So there's always going to be this level of infatuation with this person. When you first meet her, she comes off as this very charming, very maybe vulnerable, very charismatic woman for different reasons. A borderline woman will actually think that she's infatuated with you, and a borderline woman can actually fall in love with you, like genuine love. But it doesn't happen often. More often than that, she's simply infatuated, and when she finally understands that, oh, I messed up, this is not a person I actually love, I just created the story in my head and I molded into one with him. I basically created the story in my head of how you're perfect and I'm perfect and we're perfect together, and I molded into you. And then by the time 6 months down the road, when I realize that I'm not actually in love with you, that is where the rage comes out. I want to push you away. I will start cheating on you. I will try to throw you away. But my fear of abandonment is going to kick in. So as I'm pushing you away and you actually do walk away from me, I start running after you with this infantile cry for help. If you've ever heard, I hate you, don't leave me, that's what borderline personality is in a relationship. And narcissist is going to be quite different. They are most of the time also going to be infatuated with you. And they will think to themselves that they're in love with you. But their love is very different, because their love is purely transactional. Remember the checklist, what's in it for me, that is a narcissist in a nutshell. So they don't actually understand genuine love because the emotional empathy is not there. A person that doesn't have love in them is unable to love. So understand that a narcissist 6 months down the road, it's like they're going to look at you and think that, oh, you're not the person that I thought you were. You're not as successful. You're not as masculine. You're not what I thought you were. And that's where the devaluation begins. And they will typically already be grooming somebody else, whether they're cheating on you emotionally or physically. They're probably already grooming somebody else and love bombing somebody else the second that they start devaluing you. Okay. But again, they're not going to just throw you away, because if you're still valuable to them financially, because it's all transactional, and they will think, but what will other people think? Like, if I build a family with you, if I have kids with you, I'm not just going to leave my husband, because I'm going to care about what the outside world thinks of me. Sociopaths do not care about any of that. They don't get infatuated. They simply manipulate the entire time. They look at you, they assess you, what's in it for me. They actually look 10, 20 years ahead. How am I going to destroy you? Am I going to cheat on you with your best friend or your dad or somebody that's really going to hit home and hurt you? Am I going to take all of your money and run away? Am I going to just dump you with the kids and take all of your money, clear your bank accounts? Am I going to make false accusations and throw you in prison? What am I going to do with you? That is how a sociopath thinks. But again, you're going to be so charmed by this woman, and she's going to think 10, 20, if not more years ahead. And the whole thing is not just transactional, but she's actually planning how she's going to ruin you, your life, and as her end goal, because these people are very, very sadistic. Remember that. Number 4 key element you need to look out for is their past trauma. So, what attachment style do they have because of their trauma? Where is it coming from? So, for a borderline personality woman, this woman is going to have infantile fear of abandonment, very anxious attachment style typically. A lot of the time, anxious and avoidant. I'm going to push you away because I hate you, but the second that you try to leave me, I'm running after you like a little kid. Please don't leave me. Okay, so always remember that. They have severe fear of abandonment. And if you do leave them, that's where there might be suicide threats. Maybe they'll actually try for real. Maybe they'll try to simply punish you with it, like, oh, I'll show you. But understand that these people, it's all about the emotional regulation. They cannot regulate their emotions. That is where the issue comes from, right? It's not that they hate you, it's because they are reacting. They think that you did something, they think that you're betraying them. They build stories up in their head, so they get extremely angry. They push you away, but they don't actually want to push you away. Again, it's very, very toxic environment, even though these people do show a lot of progress in therapy when they're truly trying and committed. Understand, narcissists are avoidant. They don't ever care about you. The only reason they might try to hoover you back, even though they a lot of the time will try to hoover you back, just like a borderline, where maybe they'll threaten suicide, maybe they will be apologetic, maybe they'll actually take responsibility for anything. Maybe they'll even want to go to therapy because they're simply trying to get you back, suck you back into their relationship. Why? For their ego. Think of a narcissist as a child, as a toddler that got mad because the parent left. And when the parent came back, they're running to the parent, but they start hitting the parent. They're angry. How dare you leave me in the first place? That's a narcissist. An infant crying for the mom, please don't leave me, that is borderline. Okay? Sociopath, completely different story. They're completely detached. They never cared about you. Understand, this is like a freaking alien that we're dealing with. They're simply there to suck everything dry out of you, use you, abuse you, and dump you and throw you away. And if something happens to you in the end, they're only going to be happy about it. That is how sick a sociopath comparing to the first two. And number 5, last but not least, you have to look for how is this person, how's this woman responding to your boundaries? Does she have any guilt? Does she take accountability? Because a woman with borderline personality, understand that she will get angry, she will react emotionally, but if she has fear that you're going to leave her, she's going to agree to any of your boundaries, but she's not going to respect them because, again, she's going to act upon her emotions. Like, for example, if she texts you and if you don't text back right away, she might build stories in her head that you're cheating on her, that you don't love her anymore. And she might send you 100 text messages and start calling you, even though maybe you've set that boundary with her before. She's not going to respect it. And then when you try to leave her, she will actually probably accept anything. She will probably take responsibility for anything that she is and isn't responsible for. She will agree to everything just for you to like her and love her again. Okay. So it's like, I'll do anything, I'll agree to anything. Yes, it's all my fault. I'll accept everything. Just please don't leave me. And that's where, if nothing is working, that's where you can see them slitting their wrists, jumping off the balcony. Again, these people are very at risk for suicide attempts if the partner leaves them, to scare you or to do it for real because they don't see purpose anymore. They lose their sense of self. Understand that a narcissist, it's a different story. A narcissist may lie to you to hoover you back. They may take responsibility for something, say, oh, okay, I am sorry if you felt that way, in a very gaslighting way, right? Their apologies are never going to be sincere. They are never going to be able to actually genuinely take accountability for their actions for hurting you, because it's going to really chip away from their fragile ego. And narcissists cannot admit that they're wrong to anything. Remember that. So you will see bursts of anger out of them, a lot of rage out of them, if that's going to be the situation where you corner them, okay? And again, if you try to leave them, there is such a thing as covert hoovering, which a lot of covert, vulnerable, narcissistic women practice. So they're actually going to try to suck you back into the relationship by maybe taking accountability, maybe even apologizing, basically reverse psychologying you, doing everything opposite of a narcissist. And you're going to think, but that's not how a narcissist would act in the situation. But that's again for her to reverse psychology you. Understand that a sociopath, they can take accountability if needed to manipulate you, okay? But these people in their head, they're never going to accept anything. In fact, they don't care. They don't have remorse. So even if they do something horrible to you, right? They think they have a right for it. They don't care because they're sadistic. They actually want to hurt you. These people do not have any remorse. And the guilt that I haven't touched on yet. Okay, so sociopaths have zero guilt because zero remorse. There's no shame there. They think anything goes. They want to harm others. Narcissists, they don't have guilt either. They don't have remorse really. They may have a little bit of remorse accompanied by shame, because what will people think of? And sometimes they do have little check-ins with themselves, but for a very split second. So they actually start going to therapy, and the therapist will start giving them homework and start making them understand what they need to take accountability for. They're going to drop out very quickly because that's going to activate way too much shame in them. And when we're dealing with a borderline personality, these people can absolutely feel guilt. In fact, they can feel so much guilt that it's going to destroy them, because you can actually get them to take responsibility for everything that isn't their fault. So this video should give you guys clarity that although there are a lot of overlaps between these three personality disorders, these fundamental differences should make you understand that a sociopath is very, very dangerous. There is no hope to these people, and you need to just run. Okay, contact a lawyer and run. With a narcissist, there is no hope, but you can cope, you can stay. They're not dangerous. I mean, they're dangerous for your mental health. There's going to be walking on eggshells, so much cortisol, maybe physical abuse. But again, they're not strategically trying to ruin you long term. They're not sadistic to the point of a sociopath. And they do care about what other people think, so which makes them less dangerous than a sociopath. And with borderline, like I said, although these people are going to again be very harmful to your mental health, there is hope, because these people can look inward and they can actually have a lot of progress in therapy if they do the work. But with all three, it's going to be very, very difficult to coexist under the same roof. So the choice is yours. Always remind yourself that you're not here to heal anybody's undiagnosed daughter. Okay, so whether there's hope or not, ask yourself, do you really want to put in the years hoping that this may or may not work, that this may or may not get better? If you guys need help navigating this, again, schedule your one-on-one session with me. And of course, subscribe to my channel if this is helpful. And I will most likely be making a part 2 to this, because these are only the first 5 fundamental differences. But there are a lot more elements that you can look for to understand what you're dealing with. Okay, wishing you guys everything that you need as you're going through this. And I will see you all in the next video.